Hello, everybody. Welcome back to week number 5 of Stage 3 of the Quake Pro League. My name's Ketchup, joined by Lethal today. We'll keep this brief because both players are ready to go. It's cha1n, it's going to be dramis, two players that are definitely on the rise, and I believe we have the picks and bans ready to go as soon as we have them. The matchup is going to be, for me, interesting because they are two really up-and-coming players. cha1n had a phenomenal result at IEM Katowice for the Stage 2 finals. Dramis didn't quite reach a level I thought he would, but he's really dangerous online. I know he's one of the highest ranked players in Ranked Duel. He's very proud of his rank, actually. He posts about it on social media all the time, but who can blame him, right? He's consistently good online performer.
Oh, matchmaking kids, eh? What can
I'm
you say?
I'm too old for that now.
Yeah, we're lucky to get average if we try. But no, you're right, though. Dramis, during Stage 2, the last, 5-6 matches, he was just on an absolute tear. He was going completely off. And I feel like there's a lot of mistakes he realized in Stage 1, which he fixed in Stage 2. For example, he stopped chasing kills as much. He was able to reset his mentality map after map. He could switch styles quite quickly and quite easily as well. It wasn't like he can just have one preferred style and switch to another, even though he prefers playing quite defensively now and again. But he can just switch it up and kind of throw off his opponent a little bit. And you are right, though. cha1n, you saw at the Stage 2 finals, he stormed his way through the losers bracket, beating at least 2 or 3 big names, such as Kula and a couple of others. It was absolute madness. And watching these two players now play against each other head-to-head, it should be a phenomenal way to kick things off, especially at the start of the first map.
Yeah, I agree. Pick and ban-wise, let's quickly bring it up here. So it's Vale of Nath first. Corrupted Keep is going to be next. Actually, it's all 3 maps. Tiny maps indeed. So Vale of Nath, Corrupted Keep, and Awoken. It's going to be Strog versus Ranger, Keel versus BJ, and then Awoken is going to be Slash and Athena. Man, this is going to be a high-octane matchup. I can already see it. cha1n, absolutely one of the premier Athenas who has been using her from kind of the start of Pro League, really. And he's been having some not so... I always recall Athena being a kind of like a not so good early on, but the longer we're going on, the more dangerous she gets. Dramis loves those crouch sliders. It's no wonder he's gone for 2. He has 1 first and then 1 on the final map. And then Corrupted Keep with the Keel. You actually don't see Keel used on Corrupted Keep all the time. If we see large champions, sometimes it'll be a little bit different to that. But yeah, you can see the idea behind it. Keep that stack super high. You haven't got to worry about any rails. Rocket launcher is very important. LG, very important. And the grenades will simply just deny and do crazy damage in the close range fights, which are completely guaranteed. But I mean, yeah, prediction-wise, Harry, who do you think?
Oh, well, I saw one of Dramis's better maps come through in terms of Vale, but at that stage, Ruins and Vale are some of his best maps. So for cha1n, it was basically pick your poison. Which one do you want to go for? And he must be slightly better at Vale than he is at Ruins, so he's probably thought, well, one of them's going to come into it, so let's just go for that one, which is understandable. I'm just curious to see how the Slash versus Athena, as that's going to be extremely fast-paced Awoken game, to say the least. And I'm curious to know what Dramis is going to do with that Slash pick.
Yeah, I mean, what we can expect is just rapid movement. He's extremely fast, and it puts him in really good positions too. Like, it's not just all speed with Dramis. He uses the speed to put himself in good positions, set up good rail angles. He is gradually just growing to have a very strong fundamental skill set. But cha1n is kind of a player that you can put in that exact same category. It's why I'm excited to see how this one goes, because Stage 3, we're kind of late into the Quake Pro League for what's going on. And for 2 players to be so almost like evenly matched makes it kind of hard to predict a result. So we're going to be going in for Vale of Nath first. Ranger up against the Strog. See how it goes. Let's go. Map number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely difficult to call. It's going to be 2-1 between one of these 2, I reckon, because it's so close-knit. But we'll see what happens, as we are going to start off with Dramis, and already gets the heavy, but doesn't have the rockets to complement things further. But managed to do a chunk of damage there with the Pika, but even then he took off guard just a little bit, goes straight for the telly. I don't think cha1n even expected that, and Dramis with that first frag on the board.
I almost wonder if, did the rocket launcher potentially snuff out the teleporter sound effect or something? That was kind of hard to see how cha1n got so caught with his pants down in that situation. Dramis did massive damage, and a quick turnaround to make it a 1-0. And the rockets are good as well. cha1n cut off, nowhere to hide. This has been a lightning fast way to kickstart, and Dramis has just had a handle on things almost immediately.
I love this too. He was playing that very slow, very methodical, just to see if he can bait him into going for the rockets. But he then had the rockets for the time being anyway. Stack took priority, completely understandable. Dramis is just going to wait for the time being. He's going to use that people to try and find some information. Gets a little bit of damage done, which isn't too bad. And he gets the heavy eventually. Very clean pickup from there. Did everything that needs to be done, but goes straight for the telly. Just one little rocket off and a lovely rail there on cha1n. Dramis is looking very good to start this map off.
It's great combat awareness, knowing that the rocket in that situation would knock cha1n up at such an angle that the rail was guaranteed. And a lot of discipline and patience. He knew what was going to happen and he waited for it to happen while there's fire coming his way. But now, 3 frags is quite a lot to have this fast, this early on. And cha1n, unfortunately, missing those kind of rails. That's only ever going to be bad news while dramis is playing exceptionally well. Dangerous now, like the Mega is just about to spawn and cha1n caught consistently. There's no way he's going to teleport to that dire orb. It'd be suicide. Now he can set up the Pika, force away, and did almost like set himself up for that damage, using the Pika to force cha1n through the teleporter. He hasn't been able to deny it at least, but yeah, a bit of a misplay in that fight. The Pika forced cha1n through the teleporter, which guaranteed a rail, and dramis chose to chase anyway, and it just didn't work out.
cha1n's defensive rails were remarkable. Every time he hit something, he knew it had to be done, or else he would have just got taken down. Dramis should have really had that frag, but cha1n's rails were just absolutely on point. And he fallen down, but gone straight through back to the telly anyway. He's having absolutely none of it, but comes back through anyway to try and catch him off guard. Just barely missed, but cha1n does have the Mega, so dramis surely has to head back, but my word, dramis is so weak at this point. He's even able to take him down, misses the first one, but when he get the second one, doesn't matter. Cleans him up with the LG anyway, and is slowly crawling back.
That was, again, 2 frags here that you really feel like dramis, he's in for a shot, but it just comes down to movement at the end of the day. Like cha1n was really vital to kind of just knock dramis away, and wow. There's a lot of very funky looking fights breaking out near the Mega on this map. And looks like we're going to see another one.
Word, he's been so patient with his LG and cleans him up nicely for that full frag. Already taking the lead after being 3-0 down so quickly and efficiently. And to make matters worse, he's got top mid control. He is waiting for that heavy. He's going to bait out a little bit, but dramis is waiting for him to pull through. But he's going to take the risk, gets it for himself anyway, and does a lot of damage to cha1n there. But nice little bit of damage over the rockets, but cha1n has to really be careful here with his next move.
There's been a lot of bold play near the teleporter. Both players knowing the risk they're taking going through it, but at the same time, I think they're just confident that if I can just take the fight on the other side a little bit better, maybe it doesn't matter so much. Quite a few of our fights have taken place there. But I'm checking out dramis again so far. He's looking to establish threat near heavy, which makes total sense. He has a stack advantage quite significantly at the moment. There's a huge divide, actually, between heavy and Mega at this point. Now he's just trying to get some of that information. cha1n can play a little bit defensive if he wants to. Again, he's the one in the lead here. 1 frag lead would only mean so much on a map like Vale, but as we can see now, dramis doesn't give up a rail. Almost did. cha1n using the dire orb a little early. This should be a free frag for dramis, and it will be. The second that dire orb was used, dramis knew that was his green light to go in.
Yeah, if you think you're going to survive with a 1 frag lead on Vale with 6 minutes left, that's a bit of a joke. But you know what? cha1n has managed to survive anyway, and this could be dramis' time to try and clean things up, even if he had to try hard. But even then, lovely rail once again by dramis. Both of their rails have been very good, sometimes a little bit off key, but so far dramis is looking very good. He's trying to contest him for the rocket, but he managed to get it anyway. dramis may have to pull back just a little bit, man, to get the light armor just to recover a little bit more. Gets the heavy, but the worst thing was cha1n was trying to go for it at the same time and cleans up cha1n once again and has a 2 frag lead.
You have to look at dramis so far. He is trying to cut off kind of anywhere he can for cha1n. This movement has been great for him. But now, he has to watch out. He's railable. The dire orb is a great risk, and looks a little bit like he caught himself off guard. He used the Pika in that fight, and yeah, it kind of just got like stuck near the terrain, and before he can even catch his bearings and realize where he is, he's already gone through the teleporter. Wouldn't be the first time he's kind of mismanaged a Pika in this map. Railable again. Even now after that health bubble, only 86 HP ready to go.
Very close at this point in time. dramis, wait patiently for the time being. That Mega has been heard. dramis is flanking around to see if he can catch cha1n anywhere he goes. Knows exactly where he is. He's just going to hold position to see if he can rail him, but he's not decided to go up the rail lift, he decided to go back, and it doesn't matter anyway. Dramis is absolutely stacked massively here. This is opportunity, but that was beautiful from Dramis there. Quite rare to see, but managed to catch him anyway, to save at least. And even now, there's no rockets for cha1n. Dramis is not really contesting it. It's just making sure that he gets the mega first. Completely understandable. And he's going to push straight in. But will he be able to catch him off? Managed to get some damage done there. But he's so weak. Both these players are weak, to say the least. And what Dramis going to do? Is he actually going to try and push in? Or is he going to sit back? It looks like he will be sitting back for now, whilst he regains some of that stack.
Well, both players have access to a rail. And Dramis definitely railable at the health before I can even talk about it. He's going to get taken out, and they really happened even when he matched out the course of this map. Dramis is looking to just re-establish a little bit. Benefit, fresh off the spawn with a decent stack, good movement. Slide around and take all the weapons that you need, but there's 3 minutes left here. It's really hard to call this one, Lethal. Gotta say. It feels like cha1n hasn't got as much mileage out of his orb in a lot of these fights, but he's just been hitting some really sick rails. But now, I'm checking out Dramis. He's just playing this game of hit and run. Like, he is swinging around the map. And if he sees cha1n, he takes some free damage where he can. But if not, I think he's just trying to set up these angles. Speaking of which, sets up one near Mega. But again, the Pika, a consistent trouble that Dramis has been having is that he's been using the Pika, but he's been conceding a rail to do it. He's just used it. I think that's the 3rd time he's used it in a really unfortunate position. But only he is hindered by it.
Yeah, cha1n's LG was disgusting just even after Dramis picked up the Mega. He was in a really good spot and still managed to at least walk away with it. But things have tied up now for the time being. Dramis decides not to go for the Italian. That was the right decision, but that was the perfect time to go for. If anything, he's left on 41 HP. As cha1n does get away from the time being, but has to be careful about Dramis' next move. He seems to be playing a lot more aggressive than usual. That heavy will be coming up shortly, so cha1n's going to see if he can get a rail off to at least make things a little bit worse for him. Yes, he does. So at least he's helped himself out a little bit. But my word, Dramis has come straight with the LG and absolutely dismantled him. I'm very surprised about that. I actually thought he was going to try and get away and try and get to mid-control. But no, I was completely unaware. And as you can see, so was cha1n.
It was a bold call from Dramis to get hit by that rail. And then at the same time decide to immediately go for the aggressive. Like, cha1n looks kind of half ready for it almost. Like, he had the rocket angle ready to go. Unfortunately, again, the orb didn't hit its mark and basically no damage was done, so he had nothing to fight back with. He is getting a lot of damage pushed out there, though, on Dramis right now. But yeah, that was just a bold play from Dramis. It's given him the lead. Really stole it away, in essence. There's only just over a minute left to go, so that could have been the map-winning play. We'll see how this next fight goes. I guarantee we'll see at least one more. cha1n, he's looking for an opening and some kind of opportunity to get some damage open, but Dramis can take this 60 seconds, shift the balance, go for the defense. So he's sitting for the high ground, needs that information. He's just peppering down the rockets, and he's got rid of the armor. And this should be another free frag. Dramis likely to take it, gets the frag. And just like that, Lethal, this very well could be the win. Dramis just needs to play very carefully now.
Yeah, he needs to be super careful. With 30 seconds left, you can easily come back still on Vale, but he needs to not get too carried away. Just play it efficiently, be passive, let him go for the telly. You've got the advantage, just be careful. This is where he should be maybe hiding and regaining a little bit of his stack. Just be extra careful there. That was a lovely rail there to try and back cha1n off more, but cha1n has to be aggressive here, no matter how low his stack is. But even at this point, Dramis has probably got too much HP. Even with the respawn times, I don't think he'll be able to come back from this. It looks like Dramis will be taking that first victory and the first map 10-7. That was lovely stuff and a lovely way to switch up his style towards the end of that map.
They were kind of evenly matched throughout the entirety of it. How often was it where it was I trade one, you trade one? Even on the damage, we are almost identical. 4066 and 4017. I mean, that may as well be the same as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, 47 damage between the two, absolutely unheard of. Both the rails in terms of percentage were kind of similar, but then again, the LG in the favor of cha1n was a lot better. But you could say that, but even then, you saw that Dramis' defensive style was getting the better of cha1n in a number of ways. But cha1n did also some quite good strategy in terms of making sure that he keeps his opponent back from the rockets as soon as he's actually killed him on spawn, and just keep him at bay. Of course, they have to move away from it at some stage due to the fact he has to go for the items, he has to go for the megas, he has to leave it be for the time being. You can't sit on rockets the entire time hoping that they will push at some stage. But yeah, it looks really good. Dramis looking very strong. cha1n needs to be just a little bit more careful in terms of where and when he should try and execute some of his frags. But that was Dramis's map. I did say that Dramis is very good on Vale, very good on Ruins. Ruins is banned, so at least that's only one map he has to at least deal with. But Quanta keep coming up next, so see how well cha1n will do on his map pick.
Yeah, and I always have to look at the matchup for this one. Looking likely that it should be. Again, actually, I think potentially the pick might have been swapped. I guess we'll wait and see. But I can see in the lobby that cha1n is actually rocking the Anarchy, and on the graphic it says that Anarchy was banned and BJ was picked. So we might have another repeat situation where it's going to be an Anarchy coming out. It's damage versus mobility on a map like this. Keel doesn't have to worry about the rail so much, and both players have proven they're more than happy to fight when the time comes. You know, they are known for being quite aggressive, characteristically aggressive players. But with it being as close as it was, I can't say I'm too surprised. I really thought this is kind of what you grow to expect. They have similar results. They're both looking pretty strong in the online setting, and although cha1n really made a name for himself in stage 2 with that, especially that victory over Cooler, which everyone was just like, wait, what? There's the 2 streams going on made that even more surprising to us, because like, wait, what? Say that again. Who beat Cooler? What? But yeah, it was great for him and a great celebration of this part of the world. But here we go. Keel versus Anarchy. Corrupted Keep.
And that's why it's so good to have 2 streams, because we would have missed all of that, and I was definitely watching it, and it was incredible plays during that stage 2 finals. But going back into map number 2 of this match between Dramis and cha1n, what is going to happen here? But Dramis had a slight inkling that he was going to push through, but kept him at bay anyway. Keel versus Anarchy, a matchup you would not see meta-wise, very off-meta picks for both these champions. So I have to see what Dramis can do and what he's got up his sleeve. If he wins one more map, that will be the series taken, and I'll help him out a little bit further as he progresses the stage. But as I say that, cha1n had a lovely LG, just barely missed that rocket, but cha1n will get the first frag on the board and will get the mega to make things worse. Gets to heavy too, but right now, for the next 30 seconds, it is his playground.
The danger of those larger champions much easier to LG. cha1n completely prioritizing LG over all weapons right now. He has a rocket and LG. I mean, it's a even split, but the whole point is that you're not going to really lose out on as much damage as you would versus smaller people. And hang on a minute, completely in his head. Okay, nice, but he's done a good amount of damage. Dramis out of armor. However, there is some immediate damage. Looking to answer back with grenades, can't. And cha1n backs up. Good opportunity to get the heavy at least, but yeah, getting stack up is key. You have to make sure you've got your base stack ready to go if you're fighting one of these heavies.
Yeah, he just barely managed to stay alive. cha1n still trying to stay alive now. Just managed to get out of a hairy situation, but as I say that, Dramis is all over him, just trying to keep him at bay. And the mega is coming up shortly, so Dramis is going to take priority of that, whilst cha1n will sit back, get the tri-bolt, trying to get a little bit of stack back here and there, and see if he can contest that heavy, but he's going to struggle at this point in time. He gets a couple of nice rockets, does enough damage to keep him at bay, but my word, Dramis, that was a lovely rocket to clean things up.
It absolutely was. It was a perfect chance to just, I mean, a good prediction, if anything. I just cut off that potential escape route. But now with it being 2-1 here, 2 minutes done, there's patience. Yeah, you can see that from Dramis. Through the X-ray, at the very least, Dramis was just sitting there looking for that information.
Feeding himself info here and there as we head into the 2.5 minute mark. Dramis right now is stacked beyond belief. He is laughing at this point. It's just a matter of what kind of engagement he can get. But this is the one he's looking for, as the LGs are a little bit off in comparison. cha1n's LG was remarkable. He may have come up a little bit worse for wear, but compared to the stack Dramis had, Dramis really was failing a bit with the LG shots, and cha1n came back in the end. My word, Dramis should not have lost that bout.
It's a battle of LG more than anything else. That's what the whole map has been so far. cha1n has been hitting some miraculous damage, and Dramis just hasn't really been able to bring it yet. However, the swap to the SSG makes it a lot more dangerous, but cha1n is quicker on the trigger finger. And it is always, we just see it all the time. The significant impact that the 2 different champion types can really bring to the table. That cha1n, not only is his LG phenomenal, you know, we have to mention that his LG at its base is exceptionally strong. It's just when you're against one of these larger champs, they are pumping out damage, but you're hitting more of your shots because they're just bigger.
Stopwatch.
Yeah, it's the hitbox especially, but it wasn't even that. His strafe was a little bit like, you couldn't really tell how he was going about it. It was exactly what he was going to do. That's why his LG shots kind of whiffed quite a lot during that last fight they had. But even then, like, you could say for Anarchy, you could say for Nynx, yeah, your hitbox is small, but if your strafe is just as good as well as the hitbox is being small, then you can easily make matters so much worse during an LG fight. But even now, cha1n is going to contest a Mega. He managed to get it in the end. Nice. But look at this, though. cha1n is going to head back, gets the inject to keep himself alive a little bit more. Has the heavy, and my word, dramis has to be careful here.
They're going to go in for LG once more. dramis actually forced to retreat. These grenades are going to waste a little bit of time, but it's not going to be enough to stop cha1n from stopping the bleeding. cha1n catches it, and they are going to trade this one out. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, didn't expect that. cha1n is taking the risk going for that Mega, and the risk is paid off. Luckily, has the LG to try and put up a little bit more. But he's going to try and contest the heavy. Doesn't get it done, but he did a serious amount of damage on dramis just then. And cha1n is going to... You can see where he can go. He's backed off for the time being. But cha1n now, look at what he's doing. It's just keep himself far away enough as possible. Just keep the distance away, because you know it's like with a kill. If he's got a decent enough stack, it's not worth it unless you've done enough chip to push in forwards. But cha1n did a good job here, keeping track of the Mega, but almost got that rocket off. I say that, pushing in. Will he be able to clean things up? Yes, he will, and that's 5-1 in favour of cha1n.
Showing a lot of discipline and a lot of respect to dramis so far. He knows that there is a huge difference in stack, but it's not really stopping him from just running around, cycling around, taking a whole bunch of the important items here. Like cha1n, he's got almost every weapon he could want. He actually has pretty much got every weapon he could want. And dramis just getting chunked away. And as he's escaping, the second you get that stack down and dramis is the one that's forced to retreat, cha1n's the one that's an advantage because he's got the speed.
You can tell cha1n was not happy about that last map. He's definitely getting his revenge. But even now, though, dramis still has plenty of time, but he needs to think more about what he needs to do and how he wants to approach this. cha1n's looking good so far. He's got the height advantage and firing those rockets down. But even then, he's going to try and contest for the Mega once more. He's come up in a few seconds, but it looks like dramis mistimed it just a little bit by a few seconds. cha1n knew exactly when it was coming, and I think he also knew that he felt it was going to be a massive advantage considering dramis dropped down a little bit too early. But even then, no, can cha1n get another frag? No, he won't, but at least now dramis has a second one on the board and it isn't too far behind.
Yeah, dramis has to take the time to try and get the HP back as well. Fortunately, you know, there's so many of them, little health bubbles that you can retreat to. But one of the dangers that cha1n has, and that's one of the reasons dramis is able to set up shop is inside LG room, was if you can really temporarily keep cha1n away from LG, at least during that initial fight, I mean, he can't really fight you. So yeah, it's going to be a free Mega, an opportunity for dramis to just back up, try and establish some control across the map. cha1n does need to be careful because the second he does go near LG room, his escape options are cut. I think that's one of the reasons he's being so careful. You really do need an LG to go toe-to-toe with dramis here. The LG has been the miracle weapon, but getting it can be a risk.
It can be a massive risk. If you get the LG, you just got to be worried your back's not against the wall and you get stopped at this point in time, which is exactly where he is. They're trying to keep him back, but my word, it made it look so important. But the rockets as well, he's on 90 HP. The inject had to come in, but he's got the armor back to support himself. So, but even then, dramis does have to stack. He's just picked up the heavy. So, could this be the next bout? He needs to desperately win this one. If he doesn't, he's going to be in real trouble. And lovely rockets there. cha1n is saying, absolutely not, my friend. You are not coming back from this fight.
This has been a great map. It has been a fantastic map for cha1n. He's played very respectfully, carefully, which is one of the real key options here. However, aggression from dramis. Okay, he's going to force the suicide. So here we go. 2-7. There is a potential to get... This is Corrupted Keep we're talking about. It's a tiny map. If you have good stack after a frag, you can still press. But it's going to be hard. All right, catches cha1n off guard. Okay, another frag is going to just disappear, just like that. And don't call it a comeback. We might see something.
Yeah, I won't be saying anything as of yet, but you're right, though. If he has to stack after the frag, but also the weaponry, he needs to keep him away from anything where he spawns near. But if he has a spawn on that, where he spawns near the ramp and gets the rocks, then it's going to be extremely difficult for him to try and at least stop that. But for now, though, it's 1 minute and 45 left on the clock. dramis has got a huge stack and he's going to push in anyway with the LG. cha1n gets the injects, but will he be able to get away? Just barely, but even then, Dramis is on his tail. He's going after him. It's literally cat and mouse here, Ketcher. My word.
He has to do it. There's a minute and a half left. Dramis has a lot of work. 4 frags can totally be done on this map. Oh, but he gets the good prediction on where he's going to be. cha1n. Now, the best case scenario is that he's done a ton of damage in that fight. Dramis without any armor is going to be a little bit tender before these fights. Oh, sorry, I'm actually checking out cha1n. My bad. I was checking out cha1n to see about him getting armor, and I was about to say Dramis missed the armor, but wait a minute, he's not playing Anarchy. There's definitely a chance to come back. There's 1 minute left. cha1n, he's obviously going to completely change gears and go full defensive mode now. This is where that speed might matter, but if Dramis can chase it, looks like it's kind of hard for cha1n to build the speed here.
This is really struggling, but the main thing for cha1n is to keep the hourglasses and keep grabbing the orbs and the light armor, and then he should be perfectly fine. Maybe he contest one of the items if he knows the exact timing of it, and he's doing what he's doing. He's lapping the map, getting the light armor, getting the health orbs, and he's going to go back to the hourglasses. Probably he's just waiting for him to spawn, as you can see, which is why he's circling around so often around that area. As long as he keeps away with that health orbs, then he's got the speed, and he's got it again, and he keeps
That's
up
it.
with the
That should be
HP.
done. He's done a good enough job of running around the map. Dramis has not been able to pin him down. The speed has been fantastic. cha1n, by all accounts, is going to play defensive enough near the end to just make it an absolute nightmare situation. 1 more bonus frag just for good measure. And there we go. It's going to be tied up 1-1.
Yeah, that was beautiful stuff. That was literally textbook Anarchy plays. When you've got the mobility and it's a minute left and you're 3 frags up, abuse it. Do everything you can, because I think anyone in their right mind would actually do what they can. Damage-wise and map presence, you saw that Dramis had a slightly more item control, but it was too late by then, and even then it's like he didn't have as much damage, 600 less than cha1n. But so far so good. It's looking up to be quite a good series. cha1n's on the comeback here.
Oh, yeah. And we're going into the final map now, Awoken. So it should be Slash versus... Dude, Slash versus Athena. It's a great opportunity. So if this is the matchup we're getting, I'm going to assume we will. I know there's been a couple of hiccups on the pick and bans today, but if it is in fact going to be the Slash versus Athena pick, it's exciting for me because we kind of get to see some of them more like premier champions that they're almost known for at this stage, and that's always just an exciting thing, because the whole champion aspect of the game is you can really extend a lot of your own playstyle and personality into a champion if they allow you to do what you do the most. And we've seen historically that Slash and Athena are kind of those 2 picks for these 2 players. So, yeah, he's going in with Athena. Okay, good. I didn't want to talk too much about it too early, but they are going to pick them. So, good stuff incoming, I think, on a small map.
Always best to double check this to make sure, but yeah, it's completely understandable there. And it's just, even with the Slash, like, I enjoy watching Slash players. If they're like tier 1 or very highly skilled in some way, shape, or form, it's just beautiful to watch. It's just amazing, incredible to see and to witness. And it's some of the things Dramis has actually got away with. Normally he uses Slash on maps like Molten Falls. He plays Slash very, very defensively. Now, that's Molten Falls. Awoken, completely different map entirely in terms of map geometry and the size. What is he going to do? Is he still going to continue to play very passive and try and work out a way on how to get round cha1n with the Athena? Or is it going to be something different? It's going to be very hard to call, but I do feel like Dramis does have something up his sleeve. But even if he is a frag down, he can just be super aggressive and try and capitalize anyway.
I mean, early momentum is going to be quite a factor here, you can imagine, because both of these champions, their speed and ability to reposition, that's the thing, it's not really about chasing all the time as much as it is just repositioning in the blink of an eye so that you can set yourself up to catch someone around a corner, hit a really good rail, and, it's Awoken, it's full of those kind of angles you can hit for rail. They're going to try and do similar things on a base layer. They're just going to go about it differently. So, actually, I think in chat, we're going to have to restart this map because I think cha1n's experiencing some stutters. So he's going to quickly refresh. So we're going to have a little bit more time to break down what we might see. But fundamentally, it's no surprise to see both these players go as back and forth as they have done. The fact that it's 1-1 doesn't really surprise me. They've both just been climbing the ranks of online, haven't they, Lethal? They're 2 players that have just been... cha1n, I think, went into stage 1 with a bit more expectation and was kind of able to slowly but surely reach that expectation. Whereas Dramis was similar to kind of like a Sib, but a little bit more of a starting point because Dramis experienced success in Pro League at a faster rate in a shorter space of time. So I don't know who's going to win this final map. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you're right there. Chain, the word we're looking for is probably more refined in comparison because that's why he was able to keep up the consistency during that loser back up to the stage 2 finals. But even then with Dramis, he's been on the up and up and up, but it's just offline performances haven't been the best for him, but the online his, so that's the main thing for him right now at this stage. But the great thing is about these two, you see some players way back in the past where they'll have like a kind of a fluky kind of tournament and then they go back to how they used to be. But that's what annoys me the most is the fact that where's the progression? Like, how can you play like that at one moment and then the next moment you don't for like a few months and then all of a sudden you're doing it again? Like, they're trying to work out all the little kinks. Sometimes it's not always about going back through your past VODs and research and looking at why you lost. Sometimes it's also why you've won because you've got to really keep in mind of the key moments as to what you did differently in comparison to maybe what you did online. But cha1n has shown that. He's shown the progression week on week. He's either had very close series or he's actually won. But with Dramis, again, he had a very strong show in the later stage 2. Stage 3, he's actually didn't continue it from the start, but has been able to progress further as the weeks have gone by throughout stage 3. So both of them have their own moments. It's just changed a little bit more refined, but we'll have to see how it goes with map number 3. But it's definitely going to be a close one. I don't think I can predict it.
Yeah, you look at the two champions they've picked as well, the Athena versus Slash. It's kind of what I said earlier on about how they're two really good champions at just putting themselves in a much more convenient position, much faster than everyone else can. It's different for Athena because she has a lot more verticality, whereas Slash is just traditional speed outright. But I'm just honestly curious as to how the start of the map goes because they are two extremely snowball-heavy champions on a snowball-heavy map. This is still Awoken we're talking about. How many just blowouts do we see on a map like this? You can just get those crazy good rails. You can spawn trap more efficiently on this map than most. And there are two champions that are pretty squishy. You know, they're glass cannons by every sense of the word. So whoever gets the first ounce of momentum, I'm interested to see what they can do with it.
Yeah, we've seen it in quite a few situations where it's very rare you see a low frag Awoken game unless they both rotate the same ways consistently the entire time. And even then, that's hard to believe because when you've got top mid control and you've got the stack, you can just corner them off. It's like the whole ice cream scoop thing I said earlier, that analogy. It's kind of like that, really. It's
I still don't understand the ice cream scoop. Why is it an ice cream scoop?
Because you're basically scooping parts on the map and then you've got them pinned down.
But what does pinning someone down have to do with an ice cream scoop? You can't pin down ice cream.
You're scooping out the map.
It melts and it's really cold in that.
Maybe probably not the best analogy then. At least I attempted one anyway. I did use it quite a few years ago, but I think this time around I don't think I'll be using it again. Maybe it's
I understood what you were getting at, but I'm like, why is it an ice cream scoop? Ice cream? Could it be any kind of scoop? Could it be a mashed potato scoop?
No, it has to be an ice cream one. But...
All right, noted. Got you.
Thank you. But you are getting into map number 3 now between these two players. Both have one map win apiece if you've only just joined us, but even now 30 seconds into it already, it's been looking quite close. It's been very fast paced to begin with, but my word, that rail from cha1n's been looking good. But focusing on Dramis at this point, on his point of view, been looking pretty good, and his stack is back to the way he wants it to, with a lovely few LG shots here and there.
You're gonna have to keep me updated because I'm checking out cha1n at the moment. Looks like this should actually be his frag, actually, in fact. And he's gonna get that first blood. Immediate pin down. However, Dramis looking to be extremely aggressive, and I think this is going to be this kind of pace. I mean, you're in for that the second you see these two champions come through. Dramis is going to have to be quite careful, though. The speed is used mostly, I think, to try and deny that initial spawn damage, those immediate rails that can put you on the back foot. That was a very pretty rail from cha1n, though, on Dramis through teleporter. Dramis was able to get the heavy, but just look at the mega and heavy. There's almost no split in between them. So I am curious to see whether they're going to be content trading them or whether... Now, cha1n, he hit that rail, right? So he can be aggressive if he wants to. He's looking for an angle. Doesn't want to give up too much of the mega. But again, a lot of respect from Dramis. Dramis going full speed. And just look at the maneuverability. cha1n's already up by light without even having to do much. Thank you very much, grappling hook. And these rails, they're going to matter. But, oh no, cha1n, he's run out of rails.
Yeah, it's not looking too good, but at least he's near the rail anyway to pick up a few bits. I gets up a 10 for himself. Lovely. But even now... it seems like Dramis is trying to abuse the mobility of Slash. At the same time, look, he's right next to him. cha1n wasn't actually sure, but got some good rockets off anyway. And my word, Dramis surely has to back off from that battle.
That was a cheeky Athena exclusive play where he jumped down away from light armor and then used the grappling hook to immediately double back where he jumped. Of course, dramis is going to chase it. He's done damage. He can go in for the kill, but this is Athena we're talking about. She can be anywhere. I mean, how can you truly be? Surely you can't be ready for every possible angle Athena can hit for her movement. You know, you've got to be some galaxy brain Neo from the Matrix level player to always be ready. Speaking of ready, that's a rail angle that dramis just fell for, hook, line, and sinker. And this is definitely a change of momentum, I think we can say here, for cha1n, who's just off to a flying start.
Yeah, no pun intended there. My word, it seems like cha1n is just putting him back nicely here, keeping that to mid-control. But the thing is, though, dramis is trying to flank round at a much faster rate. But the thing is, though, what do you do is cha1n just sitting back and going, all right, go on, I'll wait for you to rotate and I'll just sit here and chill and get the first shot in. He's doing that every single time. But he is moving a little bit here and there. Of course, he's got to try and contest the items. But he is more than happy to sit top mid and just wait for him to make the next move. And my word, that was a lovely frag there. Nice rocket from cha1n. And it's just going to wait for dramis to respawn. And even then, look at cha1n stack, though. This could be not the beginning of the end, but it's not looking too great here for dramis at this point in time.
I need to mention, too, cha1n's movement is fantastic. He's not actually like relying on the grappling hook to like gain his boost of speed. Any small little trick jump he can do to, you know, gain leverage, or the jump from rocket to light. It's all stuff that, even though you could take the easy way out and use a grappling hook to reach those points, if he doesn't have to use a grappling hook, he won't, which means that he's keeping it for when he needs to chase, set up a rail angle, maybe just use it in combat. It's very efficient. You know, there's a lot of optimization, I suppose you could say, with how cha1n is approaching this champion so far.
Yeah, it's better for nutrition no matter how far ahead you are. And if he's doing little things like that, still anything minor just to keep him at bay and just look after himself, that's the main thing. As we saw there, cha1n sadly missed a couple of rails, but managed to get that rocket down just to keep him way further. dramis picks up heavy, but it's going to come in straight away. But the LG from cha1n may prove just a little bit too much as dramis is trying to stay alive. Oh, and he just barely missed that rail. dramis managed to strafe off to the right side to keep away from that shot. But so far, so good for cha1n, and it seems like dramis is running out of options on what he can do here. It seems like the mobility is not as effective as we thought it might be, but it takes down another rail, and cha1n is just trying to be careful here at this point.
There is this one element where cha1n is consistently putting himself in a position where he can catch a rail angle before dramis even gets there. I know a lot of Slash players probably aren't used to enduring that, because normally Slash is the one that does that to you. It's just that cha1n, it's the specific type of mobility he's given himself with how he's using these grappling hooks. You know, he's able to get up and down much faster and doesn't have to rely on that kind of grounded movement, which means that Slash can really go as fast as she wants, but Athena will still be in a better position to get her with the rail because, you know, she can climb faster, you know, and Awoken, there's a lot of different levels to this map. And the 5-minute warning, cha1n has been in full control the second we started things off. Couple of missed rails though. dramis might look to punish, and even though he delays the teleporter entrance, still takes a 60 damage rocket right on re-entry. And I feel like cha1n, he's had a handle on things all the way. Hasn't looked intimidated at all. He's had a nice level of control. And there hasn't even been a massive delay in between the two items for most of the map. It hasn't really had as much of a bearing.
He hasn't even to be fair, he doesn't even need any active abilities from what I'm concerned. He can just sit back top mid, and anytime dramis is pushing in too fast or just a bit unaware on where cha1n could be, that's it, he's done for. Like top mid, for example, if he goes up the stairs, cha1n can just wait for him to crawl up, and then that's it, he's got him straight away and just collapse it. Again, that you saw there, just listen now for the audio cues and just keeping dramis on his toes. The mobility is great, the speed is good, but even then, if you go in too fast at a certain point of the map and cha1n is waiting there for you with rockets, that's it. That's, again, another frag done and dusted. But even then, cha1n is still looking good. He is keeping up the item controls, and look at the mobility from cha1n now. Just keep him at bay, keeping it on his toes, but if cha1n loses one frag, that's where dramis can get a bit carried away.
Scary time, though. If you're dramis, not a lot of this map left to go, and cha1n has been comfortable the moment we started. At this point now, cha1n can just... He's gone for the immediate defensive style. You're noticing he's not interested in pushing in anymore. If he can take a fight, he will, but he's not desperate to do so. That combo Definitely didn't tickle. And now if you're dramis, yeah. I mean, thankfully the plasma trail did kind of like slightly obstruct the vision, but yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow for dramis. Dramis is now looking to press, but being hit by those rails means he can't even be close into position. Sorry, it's the sentence I was looking for. To try and fight for the mega. It put him too far back.
It's looking that way as well. But look at this from cha1n. Lovely rockets, lovely LG. Just adding salt to the wound at this point. But dramis does have 2 minutes and 20 left to get something going. Even just get the first frag on the board. If he does and has a reasonable stack, use that mobility to try and at least put him at bay. Even if he's on a low stack, at least he's got the weapons and he can make some risky plays here and there. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Going straight in. My word, I was very aggressive. But like I said, time and time again, cha1n is just waiting for the moment. And if you go in too fast, that's exactly what can happen. So dramis can either change up his style a little bit, but he can't now. It's way too late. He hasn't got enough time to be passive or, like, you know, wait for a chance to kind of at least get a few extra frags on the ball with the aggression. The LG from cha1n, my word. This could be all said and done here unless dramis doesn't change anything.
He's going to deny the mega as well because he's a jerk. He's not going to give dramis an inch of a chance to have fun here. But yeah, this has just been a great demonstration for me. And I really think that cha1n's Athena is like one of my favorite things to watch in this whole game. Oh, here we go. The second the gauntlet comes out, you know it's over.
Yeah, it's all said and done. But even then, he's still got 5 frags to try and fill with 1 minute and 10 left. It has been done before, but at this point, can it actually be done again with dramis? Even
well, the danger is
keep him back.
The danger is that he's got to push, and cha1n has been getting some good audio cues, like to land those initial rockets, pretty much all map long. And now, yeah, he's just sitting up here, listening out. He has escape if he needs it, because he's got 3 grappling hooks and rocket damage. Like this is a done deal. I think that's why cha1n was so happy to get the gauntlet out, because he just knows there's dramis now has to be. Hang on a minute, plasma trail. Don't quite think cha1n was ready for that one. There's a little bit of work, but still, I don't know. Might just be a fool's hope at this point. cha1n just needs to play slow. Make every single frag take forever, and you're pretty much in the money. And yeah, 30 seconds or less now. Good rail. Here comes dramis. Yeah, suicide. I mean, I had no choice. That was either going to be a suicide or he gets fragged by cha1n. No difference, really. And what seemed like quite a long series, to be honest. This was quite intense. This final map has been absolutely wonderful for cha1n. He was just trying to get some last-minute rails to seal the deal, but it does not matter because cha1n is going to walk away with the series win 2-1, using his patented Athena to get the job done. Good stuff. Happy to see it. Yeah,
that match wasn't what I expected. I expected like a 15-10 kind of scoreline, a much higher fragging game. That's the potential I assumed, but it just didn't seem to be the case. But I said it earlier, you saw with cha1n, just holds top mid. It doesn't need to barely move. And if he's got the rockets and he's got plenty in a chamber, that's fine. He can just sit back, wait for the cues for him to push in. And when he does, he's going to get the first rocket off every single time. And he's always going to be the first person doing it. And if he's got the stack as well, he's laughing. He's laughing pretty much. But, you know, I like change. I like off-meta picks. It was nice to see something a little bit different, especially with dramis. You could see where he was going about it in terms of using the mobility to try and at least, after a frag, he can use whatever he's got left in his arsenal in terms of weaponry to try and like get the spawn frag. But just one of those things. But it was a little bit unlucky, a little bit too late to call, but well played by cha1n nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure. I did kind of suspect that it would be a very momentum-heavy map, and it ended up being pretty much exactly that. That's the strength of Athena, especially in the hands of a talented player, with cha1n being one of the absolute premier Athena players in the world right now. I know when you think of Athena, you mostly think of cha1n and Rafa these days when you think of that champion, at least in my opinion, anyway, in the Quake Pro League. But either way, it was a very rapid final map. It came down to that kind of initial frag, that initial fight, and then, right, good. I'm now going to just establish that threat all across the map. And even though dramis was the one using Slash, who, you know, he's so used to being able to bully other people around a map because of just how fast she can go, somehow she was the one that was consistently just running for her life all map long. And it didn't stop cha1n from hitting those rails, like hitting those amazing rockets, you know, those initial rockets that started the fight and then put dramis in a terrible position. Always spot on. And just an impressive showing all round. Well done.
Well, you know, even with Slash, he did a lot of gym work for her in the end. Must have lapped them out countless times to try and get cha1n off top mid. But my goodness, it's, you know, cha1n had to barely move. They didn't really need any active abilities. It was just standing top mid, hit the Qs, and because top mid's so narrow, sorry, and so closed off, it's very difficult to try and push him out of there. And not having the stack on top of that just makes matters worse. It's so hard. But cha1n had the right balance to stay there and then only contest the items when necessary. So at least the Mega's near him all the time. It would have been a lot more of a struggle to go for the heavy, but it depends on the circumstance he's in. If he's done a lot of damage, great, fine, go for the heavy. If he hasn't, just stick to the Mega, hear him out, and then just see what he can do. But he did it every single time. It was textbook.
Right. We actually have quite a heavy hitter coming up next. It's going to be Maestro's Wenger, Navi Cypher. It's going to be a crazy good match. Really excited for it, actually. And by some of the picks, it could be quite explosive too. I believe we're going to go for another quick break and set things up. This is week number 5 of stage 3 of the Quake Pro League. Don't go anywhere.